back to Now You're Cooking. Usually my wife is on this side of the camera, but another member of my family, Shay, is doing me the honors of letting me bring you the game time version of Now You're Cooking. You happen to catch this episode just before the big game, the Super Bowl. Go Saints! And I want to show you the perfect party food, JB's ribs. Very delicious, very tender. A lot of people like pizza, wings, guacamole dip. That's fine, but I prefer ribs. And when we come back, we'll show you a delicious way to prepare them, cook them, and get them to your party, whether it be outside the stadium or in your own living room. We'll be back momentarily. We're going to be preparing JB's ribs. I have already taken the liberty to prepare one side of these baby back ribs. They can be either pork, beef, whatever you prefer. This particular side has already been de-membraned. That is, there is a slight membrane on the back side of the ribs. You want to kind of start at the corner, as I have previously done, and just kind of work your way back. You want to make sure that you get that membrane off. See how easily it comes off once you start? And that will make not only the meat more tender, but it will also allow the seasonings to integrate into the meat once you start the cooking process. And you just want to, of course, discard the membrane. I have washed my hands, which is something you should always do when, of course, preparing meat. You also want to pick your seasonings properly. Myself, I choose a small variety of seasonings, the most important of which is paprika. Paprika is sort of the foundation of a lot of rib dishes, whether you're cooking them in the Carolinas or in Kansas City, or even in the Southwest. Paprika adds a certain taste to ribs, I think, and a lot of people agree. So I'll be using that, as well as a little cayenne pepper, garlic powder, of course my staple, sea salt or kosher salt, a little nod to my wife, Laurie's seasoned salt, and onion powder. You, of course, are welcome to take onion and slice it, dice it, and just sprinkle it over the meat as you're cooking, depending on your intensity threshold in regard to the onion taste. It does, however, in onion powder form or real onions, bring out a particular taste that I myself prefer. I'm going to wash my hands again, show the seasoning process, and we'll be right back. In preparing the pans, you want to maybe put on a non-cooking spray thusly, just coating the pan. In the juices coming out of the rib during cooking, it may cause a little stickage, if you will, to the bottom of the pan. For me, the non-sticking spray kind of frees up the meat once the juices start to drain and then cook and cause sticking. Some people put in water or some other juice. I just let the juices flow and use non-stick cooking spray. Again, you have your ribs. I take them and put them bone side down initially. Wash my hands again before I handle the seasonings. And there's no particular rhyme or reason. Some people want to use a paprika type base during the seasoning process. I sometimes do subscribe to that, but you don't want to blanket it in paprika. You want to make sure the rest of the seasonings get a fair shot as well. So you just want to kind of give them a little hit each, and believe me, everything will even out during the cooking process. You just want to be a little easy with the cayenne. It is hot pepper, and some people's tastes are different than others. I don't use a lot myself. You want to just sprinkle the kosher or sea salt on in a even tight blanket as well. I have an adjustable peppercorn grinder. I have it at the smallest setting. If you use the larger one, then I think the pepper flakes are a little large. You just want to make sure, again, just like the sea salt, you get a nice even coating, but not too much. And then the last thing on my agenda would be just a little smattering of celery flakes, and then of course a little garlic powder. Again, sparingly. You want to be a little easy with all of your seasoning to make sure that they all coalesce and that they all greet and meet each other appropriately during the cooking process. Another thing that some people prefer is to maybe slather their ribs in sauce. I do not. I let it cook in its own juices and maybe take the last 20 to 30 minutes and use the sauce. I just cover the ribs and let them cook accordingly to where the sauce penetrates the ribs after the seasonings have had time to do their job. The temperature you want to use is 300 to 350 degrees. You also want to leave them in for at least 2 hours. This is because in this particular case it is pork and you want it to cook thoroughly, but in any case with any meat you want it to cook thoroughly to make sure that the meat is finished and that you don't have any type of issues in regard to undercooked meat. You want to also make sure that it cooks in that case for 2 hours. You can also use a meat thermometer. You want to put it in to the meat, not too close to the bone, and make sure that the temperature is at 160 degrees. That will denote that the meat is done. I usually like my meats more well done, so I will probably cook these for about 2.5 hours to 3 hours. One more note, this doesn't just have to be for football. In my case, you can also prepare these the night before or the day before for your tailgating for baseball games. You can serve them during the NBA games. It's basically an all-year deal. So however you choose to prepare these, at whatever time you choose to prepare these, you'll be in good shape. I'm just going to go ahead and put these in the oven, and they'll be cooking for a while. So one more thing to mention. Cover them.